Awesome. Okay, are we recording? Yes, we are. Well, thank you, Cora, and thank you everyone for being here. I'm just gonna mute everyone because just for the, we don't want sound interference, but as Cora just said, feel free. I'll have periods where you can have a question or if you want to respond or whatever, feel free to take yourself off mute for that. Oh, I'm spotlit. Okay. And also I will try to be monitoring the chat. So if you want to put a question in the chat or a reaction in the chat, feel free to use the chat as you see fit. Okay, well, I'm excited to speak with you all about memes and Jewish social media and all of that. And we will go through what exactly a meme is as well, and a few things. And when Cora and Barbara approached me about this session and what I wanted to talk about, and I was thinking, because I have various interests, but I thought it would be fun to do something around your social media and being online, because I think that's something that's really a lot of my generation, how a lot of people in my generation express their Jewish identity. And I also think it's fun and lighthearted. And I know that, especially now, there's a lot going on that's not so lighthearted and heavy. And I think especially on social media, I mean, social media, we can see it can be like really, really amazing in a way to find connections, and also really terrible in a way to spread misinformation. So tonight we're going to focus on the positive aspects of Jewish social media, and that it can really be a way to identify as Jewish, to question Jewish identity, to explore Jewish identity, to find Jewish people who have similar interests to you. All of that stuff is possible on the Jewish internet and with Jewish social media. So there we go. So we'll talk about memes mostly, and then towards the end, if you have questions about other social media, I'm happy to also share. I have many musings around being a rabbi on social media as well, and I'm happy to answer questions about that. But yes, so let's take a breath. I'm trying to think. Oh, so one of my my thesis statements for tonight is that's a hard, maybe not a thesis statement, but I think a thesis statement is that millennial Jews, not all, right, but younger Jews are really using the internet to express themselves. And for me, it actually fills me with hope. I know a lot of times when people like to talk about the younger Jews, which I am a part of, it feels very doom and gloom. Like they're not affiliating, they don't like Judaism. Blah, 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 blah. I know I'm exaggerating a little bit, but right, like I'm sure you've heard some of that before. I've definitely heard that, and I'm like, but wait. But I think that there's actually a lot of thriving Jewish culture among my generations and the quote unquote younger generations. And here's a little bit of that. And I see you ask, what is a meme? That is a great question, because I'm going to answer right now by sharing my screen. So let me do that. I made a lovely PowerPoint for us all. Here we go. What do you meme? That was my little funny. Okay, so what is a meme? Let's start with the basic, and it's pronounced a meme. It's not meme, it's just meme. And here we go. So we're gonna get the theoretical definition. I'm just gonna read what is written on the slide. So meme is defined as a unit of cultural information spread by imitation. The term meme was introduced in 1976 by British evolutionary biologist Richard Dawkins in his work, The Selfish Gene, which I have not read, but maybe you have. But anyway, so it's this small unit of cultural information. And okay, I'll keep reading. Dawkins put forth that our ideas, ideals, cultures, and customs replicate themselves, right? Like genes, how genes, right? Biology, they multiply and they replicate and pass information on. Right? Almost like a virus, they travel from person to person through imitation, sharing, and repetition. While all memes are ideas, not all ideas become memes, because not all ideas are worth passing on or copying. Okay, so it's this unit of cultural information that gets spread. That's like the theoretical definition, and we'll get in a moment. We'll get to, okay, what am I actually talking about, like specifically? But the idea is that these ideas, maybe they're pictures, or maybe some unit of cultural value that's passed around. And so yes, there are examples of memes even pre-internet. Before we go into the internet memes, some examples of a pre-internet meme, and maybe if these kind of get you thinking, if you want to share some ideas in the chat, or like the hand clapping games, right? That's kind of a meme because everyone, like a lot, they get passed around. Like maybe you did like Miss Mary Mac, right? So they get passed around and they get changed a little bit. So I know, I would do it one way in school, and then with my camp friends, it would be slightly different and it would change a little bit. And that's kind of an example of a meme. There's another one that I had that but there's certain like phrases from commercials that I think became a meme, like maybe an older one that I think the commercial was on before I was born. But it keeps coming up. There's like that Wendy's commercial. I don't know if this airs in Canada now. I don't know if this is going to be culture, but like there's this Wendy's commercial that some old ladies talked about, like, where's the beef? I don't know. Right. Yes. Okay. I see some nodding. Okay, great. Perfect. Right. So that became a meme, right? Because people would like just say it at different times, or or courses like reduce, reuse, recycle. Yeah, I think that could definitely one, right? It kind of gets passed around and people use it in different ways, and then eventually it also maybe becomes a joke. Right. So there are lots of these like little ideas or little things, sayings that become memes. Okay. Now, when I talk about specific memes, and then I'll give you, we'll see some actual examples. When we talk about memes, I'm talking about something more specific. It's usually a picture with words around it, or sometimes a brief video, or even just a phrase. So you'll see there are memes on Twitter, and Twitter is more of a, people writing words, not as much talking, or sorry, not talking, not as much pictures. So there's written memes, there's kind of sometimes phrases, or sometimes it's a picture, and then people will take this picture and put words around it. So now we're going to do an example of one of my personal favorites from this last year. And yes, it's of a politician, but this is not. Okay, I will answer that question, Anna, in 1 second. So this meme is of a politician, but it's not political. It's just of someone. I'm not endorsing anyone's politics or not endorsing anyone's politics. GIF, Anna, is a moving picture. So it's like a picture. You can find it on the internet, but it's like sometimes people might send it to you in like a text message, and it's just a picture that's like moving for 1 second or 2 seconds. If you were you on for Purim, the Megillah reading? Maybe the Purim Megillah reading, I had like a bunch of GIFs in that slideshow, if you remember that. But we can come back to that later. But it's basically a picture that moves for like 2 seconds. Okay, so here is a breakdown. So how does something become a meme? So here's Bernie Sanders on election day, and he became a meme. But this is the original picture. Okay, it's just him. Right, he's wearing his gloves. He looks warm. It was very cold out, and I don't know if any of you watched. I know I watched the inauguration, and a lot of the politicians, they have these like beautiful like designer coats and their scarves, and like everyone's like dressed to the nines. And here's Bernie Sanders in his like very practical Gore-Tex coat, his mittens, his mask, and he's kind of looks not amused. So how did this become a meme, or how does anything become a meme? It's kind of a mystery, like why things go viral. It's a mystery. No one knows. I mean, I'm sure there are people who study this, which I do not, who could probably tell you some characteristics that things that become memes share. But I think there's something about this picture that like speaks to a mood, or that spoke to people, that evokes something. So people saw this picture and then start putting words around it. So, and here's some great Jewish ones. Nope. Okay. And these are from someone, Shoshana. This is her on Twitter, but her on Instagram, she's Jewish memes only. And I love her, and I think she's hilarious. Right. So this is an example. We are seeing 2 Bernie Sanders memes. It's the first one, when you're the first one to wash for Hamotzi and you sit back down, but everyone else is chatting in the kitchen. Right? And it's like, it just shows this mood, right? So they're referring to, right, after people wash their hands, you're not supposed to talk between when you wash your hands and when you say the blessing or the challah. And so, here, if you're the first person, if you've ever done that, you're like the first person in a large meal and you wash your hands, then you can't talk, but then everyone else is still talking because they haven't washed their hands. And so, right, maybe that's how you feel, right? You're like not impressed. Right? And the picture, again, it's like worth 1,000 words. And so you can like draw all sorts of stuff into it. And then here's another one, right? So me is single with no children. My mother, right? So like, it's just this like kind of joking around like the stereotype of maybe a Jewish mom, right? She wants her child to have kids and she doesn't yet. And so she is less than enthused. She's being a Bernie Sanders there. And okay, there's a couple more I'll show you and then I'll pause again for some questions. I love this one. Bernie's just waiting for the Schultz president to finish announcements so we can go to Kiddush already. I don't know if that's ever happened to you when you've been hungry. I know I get hangry and sometimes I just want to finish up, stop talking. And this is obviously not anything against any, right? This is, and it's funny because it's something that many of us have experienced. So it's not, right? It's kind of like uniting in some ways that we've all been somewhere where the announcements feel too long or someone's taking a really long time and we just want to go to Kiddush. And there we go. We have Bernie Sanders wanting to go to Kiddush. So, okay, great. So I'm going to stop share for a sec. I'm going to pause. So that's just one example of what a meme can look like, right? So we have a picture and it seems to like evoke some emotion or say something, and then people put words above it that gives it a funny context. That makes sense. So that's one way a meme can work. So does anyone have any questions or thoughts, reactions, not to the politics, but just to the meme or that explanation if there was something unclear? Cool. Okay. It looks like everyone looks okay. Great. Okay. Cool. So I'll reshare my screen. I just always like to check in on all of you. Okay. So the next we're going to look at another kind of origins of a meme or kind of where one started. And this is a particularly Jewish one, right? So this meme with Bernie Sanders, like there are definitely other ones where, they took his picture and wrote something that wasn't Jewish. So it isn't always specifically a Jewish meme. I mean, Bernie Sanders is Jewish, so there's something Jewish about all of them a little bit. But right, these are specific Jewish related examples. Now this next one is Jewish at its core. So, okay, so we have this is from Sukkot. We're throwing back to Sukkot. And right, this person tweeted the tweet. Find someone who looks at you with the joy and tenderness these rabbis have for their giant etrogim, right? And so she found these pictures of these rabbis like looking admirably, like really looking so lovingly at these etrogs, and actually this format is a meme in itself. So we're getting a little meta here, but this phrase of like find someone who looks at you like ... is a meme in itself. So if you find, so sometimes people will tweet if there are two people who like are looking lovingly at each other, or sometimes I've seen that where someone's like looking lovingly at a piece of food and they'll say like find someone who looks at you like this person looks at this thing. So that in itself is a textual meme. And then here we have that with these two rabbis adoringly looking at their etrogim, because those are very impressive, honestly. Like I'm impressed that that they didn't like fall off the tree. I don't know. Has anyone ever had an etrog that large? No, I know, me neither. But it's like hard to hold in your hand too, because like I feel like when you're holding the lulav and the etrog, like how do you like need a helper, and especially if you have to hold like when you like do the hoshanot where we walk around and you have to hold the lulav and etrog and the siddur, like how? I don't know. Okay. Anyway, I'll have to find them and ask. This is the great mysteries of the Jewish world. Okay. So then because these pictures are like great pictures and they're really like evocative of some type of emotion and they're just fun, people of course made them into a meme. So we're going to see a few. So here, right? So we've taken this person lovingly looking at something and we've made into a meme by like labeling the parts of the picture, right? So this one, it says me next to the rabbi. So right, the rabbi is me, whoever that is, and looking adoringly at challah braiding videos, right? So this person's talking about how much they love to look at the challah braiding videos. And I don't know about you, but I've definitely watched a lot of those. There are a lot on Instagram recently where people are like braiding them really fast and doing like fancy things, and it's just fun to watch. Or right? So this is a specific person saying that they enjoy that, but it's also why it's a meme is it's because it's a little bit more universal, right? So other people can look at this and be like, me too. And that's part of what the meme is it's identifying something that it's like a group of people feeling, and that's how they catch on. Okay, see something in the chat. So Doreen asks, are all memes funny? Generally they're supposed to be, generally they're funny. The good ones are funny. They're either funny or they're almost like a, oh, me too, or like, I feel that way. So there's something you're identifying with. So we'll see one later that maybe is a little dark humor, but maybe is not even funny, but it's something that you can relate to. But that's a good question. But generally, I think the aim is to be funny. Yeah. But they don't, but again, they don't, right? So like meme in the theoretical definition doesn't have to be funny, right? The hand clap games aren't funny. I mean, the where's the beef is fun, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. But I think that, you know, for something to get transmitted and go viral, I think a lot of times people like funny things. And so it makes it easier for it to be more popular and be spread around. But good question. Okay, so we're gonna look at a few more of these because they're fun. So again, we have right, the rabbi is me, and then talking about being Jewish, right? So this idea that people love, they love talking about being Jewish. So that's nice. I love that. And another one, I think. Oh, no. Okay. So yeah. Oh, here we go. So me and then obscure Jewish holiday memes, which again is a little bit meta because this is an obscure Jewish holiday meme, but you know, so it's for the people who love and enjoy them, right? So again, it's about like identifying with them. I thought there are these millennials and Gen Zers, right, sitting around making these memes, I think is hopeful, right? It's showing that there's a strong Jewish identity there. Great. And then lots of people share them and we're all like, haha, that's so funny. Okay. Or me too, right? Sometimes people will just write same, right? If you identify. So for this, I would share it on my Instagram and write same because I do love a good obscure Jewish holiday meme. Always, always, always. So, okay, cool. So again, so that's a little bit, so I would challenge you to think about right now, if you want to, and we'll do this again later in our little class. But to think about maybe if this was a meme that you were gonna make. And so we already have the me here, so it's me. And then what would you write in this part, right? What's something that you love to watch or that you just love? So I'm not so good. I love looking at memes. I'm not so good at making memes. But I might put in this little, you know, text box instead of obscure Jewish holiday memes. I might say, when people harmonize during Hadodi. I don't know, I love that. I love Jewish harmonize. Or something like that. So if anyone wants to, but that one wouldn't be good because I'm not sure how many people would identify. Maybe some people would identify with it, but yeah. Sharon, see, looks like you. I don't think so. Yes, and yes, you could make a lot of jam with that etrog after Sukkot is over. So yeah, so if you wanted to think about something that you would maybe put in that box, and you can make a meme of it. Cool. Okay, so next we're gonna go on to, so these are like kind of funny Jewish identity memes, but there's also in terms of Jewish memes, there's also like Torah memes or memes that have more overt Jewish content. So I thought we'd look at a few of those. And yeah, if anyone have questions right now? Good. Cool. Okay. So yes, I don't know. Okay. Okay. So here's some Torah content. This is again from Jewish Memes Only, and she's great, Shoshana. And so these are two memes about the Akedah, about right Isaac, or aka Yitzchak and Abraham, right? The story, yikes, around Abraham going up, and God tells Abraham, you know, sacrifice his Isaac, and you know, they go up, and Isaac asks, wait, like where's the sacrifice? You're building an altar, what's going on? And then of course later on, at the last minute, right, Isaac not Isaac, sorry, Abraham binds up Isaac to the altar, and it looks like Abraham's about to sacrifice Isaac. And then, of course, at the last minute, an angel comes like, don't do it. And Abraham sacrifices a ram instead. Okay, great. So there you go. That's a little rundown just in case we're a little rusty there. So here we have two memes around that whole story. So Yitzhak, Isaac, says, hey, bro, what's that giant knife for? And Abraham says, right, so we have this like funny like Mickey Mouse thing, which is definitely from a cartoon, like a kid's show. It says, it's a surprise tool that will help us later. Right, so it's like a funny thing. It's using this picture of Mickey Mouse that's definitely, become a meme. So people will write the text above it, and that'll be the thing they substitute in. So right, so it's kind of making fun and making light, but in like a nice way, I would say, of the Torah portion. Right, it's almost like a midrash in a way, but not really. But again, it's just a way to show like how to relate to something that's really difficult, right? The whole story of the binding of Isaac is a really difficult story to relate to. So, why not relate to it with humor? And this is another way, it's like a little dark humor here. And so then we have this other one over here, where, Abraham's saying, well, I can't let this perfectly good altar go to waste. And the ram, right, it's just like in the bushes. And so this is a picture of the singer Adele. And right, it's just kind of like a silly picture, but it kind of screams like this is going to become a meme because it's just a little, I don't know, there's something about it, right? It's not like a typical picture. It has a certain, I don't know, je ne sais quoi, right? And so here we have, this person Shoshana has decided that, oh, it looks like the ram because she's kind of looking out of the bushes, and so it's some Jewish content, right? You have to know the story to understand why this is funny, but there, so I don't know, I think it's silly. So there are lots of these out there as well. So there are things that are more Jewish identity based, and then there's some memes that are more kind of knowledge based that you might have to know a little bit about Judaism or Torah or whatever to understand. But I love them. I love them all. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna stop share for another. Wait, let me just look what's next, dude. Okay, that's funny. Oh no, you're spoiler alert. Okay, so this one is just again, so we have this picture with and this one has its own text with it, which sometimes you'll see. But she has labeled it, okay, what's the context, right? And so she's saying Jews at Jews. So she's saying Jews are saying to other Jews, humor based on my pain, haha, right? So this is from Friends, this is a quote. And she's identifying it as, actually, this is something that a lot of Jews do, right? We joke about our pain, or, we have this sense of dark humor. So there you go, there's that one. Okay, so here's another fun origins of a meme or whatever. So here is this one again, right? These kind of like speak to a moment. Oh, that was a spoiler. No, go back. Okay, no, that's a total spoiler. Oh man, what's happening? Hold on a sec. Sorry, everyone. Why isn't it going back? There we go. Okay. So now you saw the spoilers, but it's okay. I'll explain it. So this is the original. This is actually 2 panels from a 6-panel comic, but just these 2 are the ones that became the meme, right? And so it's this dog sitting in the fire and says, this is fine. So obviously in denial, and I don't know, this felt very, very much illustrative of some parts of our world these past few years, right? Where we're just like sitting and it just feels like everything's terrible, and we're like, no, this is fine. Definitely sometimes I've, in the middle of chaos, I've tried to convince myself it's fine. I've been that dog sometimes. Right. So this has been memed a lot. And then here's a fun one to make it Jewish. So instead of saying this is fine, it says this is Elul. Right, and Elul again is the month right before the high holidays. And so I know for me, I feel this way sometimes because it can be very difficult, and there's a lot of work going up to the high holidays, and so it just feels like there's a lot going on. Or again, like this is because it's a picture, you can interpret it in many different ways. And so you could also interpret this as this idea that, okay, we're supposed to evaluate our lives and we're supposed to repent and do all of that. That's supposed to happen now. And we're kind of maybe a little bit like in denial about that, or any other interpretation you have. And then to go a little bit further, right, we have this meme that definitely started out not at all Jewish, right, started out pretty universal, being kind of brought in and being made Jewish. And so then we have this one, which is fun. And so instead of saying this is fine, I really would love this menorah. It's so funny. Right, it's a Hanukkah that says, instead of this is fine, this is Hanukkah. And it's funny because, right, you have these candles instead of the actual, fire from the illustration, right? You have the candles burning. So I think it's funny. I don't know. Maybe it's millennial humor. I don't know. I think everyone has like slightly different humors, but there you go. So it's a little dark humor for Hanukkah. This is Hanukkah. Okay, great. So then here are a few more of, I'm gonna stop share for a sec. We'll do a few more in a moment, but again, does anyone have you kind of encountered this type of thing before? Is this new? Do you have questions? Do your grandkids or kids show you these things and you're like, why are you showing me these things? Okay, Ruth, I see your question in the comments. Do any of the Torah content memes get negative reviews from rabbis or scholars, or do all find funny? I mean, I'm sure there are people who can be offended by things. I mean, I think a lot of older rabbis might not be online where these things are shared in the same way, and so I'm not sure that they're necessarily seeing this stuff. I mean, I think it's great. I'm always happy to see when any Jew is engaging in Jewish tradition in some way. And I think in order to make a meme out of Torah or out of a Jewish holiday or whatever it is, it means you're engaging in some way with Judaism. So I'm all for it. I love a good Jewish meme. I love it when people send me them. I'm always here for that. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely not scholarship, right? No one's like making new claims, but yeah. Okay, Sharon. Oh, you're on mute.
Mute.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm the only one, so I'm going to talk for myself. I don't find the Avodah, like the killing, the supposedly sacrifice of Isaac, I don't find that funny. I don't find that kind of humor funny. I like dark humor. Like I've watched many movies which are, they call dark humor. But this to me is so serious. It's so part of our basic of our Judaism. Yeah, you can sort of laugh about it in a way. Like I guess if I got a cartoon on my computer, I'd say, oh yeah, but I wouldn't want to see it as a real thing, talking about it. I wouldn't want to see it in shul. Now we're out of shul. We're just talking. But if it was in shul, as mentioned, it doesn't lie right.
Yeah. I mean,
I was just talking about it doesn't lie right because it's a very serious thing about the whole thing about the angel coming down and God or whatever. Just it's such a serious part of what I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna stop it. I don't find that one funny, personally.
Yeah. I mean, I think that everyone, we all have different senses of humor, and totally reasonable. I think that I don't know, maybe I don't like talking like broad strokes about like generations because but I think that maybe I'm just like more irreverent. I don't know, because I'm younger. I don't know. But yeah, I wouldn't print out these memes and bring them to shul or like put it in a sermon. But I think that, for me, and I think sometimes when something's like hard, sometimes I like to process it through humor. And that's not to take away from the like beauty of the story or the seriousness of it. But sometimes I need to like take a surface level like funny view of it, and sometimes I can kind of delve deep. And I mean, I think I see that with how we react to like maybe pandemic, like right, sometimes we're like joking and we're on the surface, and then sometimes we need to like go deep because it is serious and kind of going back and forth, and how we use humor to cope, and how we use humor to process. And I think that, you can use that in processing Torah if you want, but you don't have to. And yeah, there's lots of ways to kind of make sense of, or attempt to make sense of things that don't make sense. And memes are one of those ways, but not the only way, for sure. Thank you for that, Sharon. Anna, you said I've probably seen memes without knowing that's what they're called. Probably, yeah. They're everywhere. It's hard to escape on the internet. But yes, cool. Yeah, Cora.
I have a question about whether you've made memes before, and if you've had memes that have gone viral, or kind of what your experience is in the creation of them.
I have not made memes. I find it like I enjoy looking at them and laughing, but I haven't like cultivated that part of my brain. So I've not gone viral yet, but it's never too late. You can go viral for the silliest things. But that's not a personal goal of mine. But if I do, I would say I'm not anti making memes. So if the right idea strikes, I will make one. Yes. Okay, Sylvia, I see you're raising your hand. So you're on mute.
Yeah, I'm on. Yes, okay, I was on mute and off camera, and so I had to get both buttons. I was reflecting on the comment around, what we find funny and not funny, and I wonder how much of that also plays into the context of it, right? So sometimes when you're scrolling through stuff and you're seeing lots of things, perhaps it's a lighter mood, and sadly now there is no. There's very little light mood on social media right now. But I do wonder if that plays into it too, is sort of the context, right? So there's some days that some things are really funny, and other days when the same thing is really not that funny at all. And maybe that's just me. But I do wonder what context, the context in which we see memes is a context of 3 seconds, thing after thing after thing after thing. So yeah, just that popped into my head and thought I would share it. I don't know what your thoughts on that are, Rabbi Walker.
Yeah, thank you, Sylvia. I definitely think context is a piece of this here. And just like Sharon said earlier, if we were to bring this meme to shul, I'm not sure how, I don't know, not sure how many people would love that. But right, if it's on Instagram where I go to kind of look for things that are more lighthearted. Obviously, I don't always see those things, and obviously there's other things that happen on social media. But I'm also expecting to see some humor, and I'm not necessarily expecting to go super deep on Instagram or on, sometimes memes get posted on Facebook or on Twitter, or even TikTok, which is another social media thing. But I think it's I didn't finish that sentence, but definitely context is a big part of humor. Cool. Any other questions or thoughts before I keep the train going? Great. Well, so now that you all know what memes are, when you see a good Jewish one, you can send them my way. or if you want to we're going to have time. We're going to make our own in a little bit. But if you want to make your own, if you want to start dabbling, that could be fun. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen again. Okay. So here we're going to go through these. We're not going to go kind of as deep into each meme, but here's another popular one that was pretty popular mostly recently is this picture. She's called, her name's Brittany. I follow her on Instagram, but for the sake of the meme, this meme is called Kombucha Girl, because it's from a video of her trying kombucha for the first time, which is like this drink, kind of I don't know how to describe it. It's like a tea, but it's fermented, which is right. It's great for your gut to eat and drink fermented things, but some people like the taste of it. Some people don't. I personally enjoy kombucha. Maybe that's because I lived in Los Angeles for a while. I don't know. But anyway, so she's trying kombucha for the first time. And I don't know if you've had it, but it can be an acquired taste. I don't know. It tastes, well, you can go out and have it if you haven't had kombucha. Try it out. It can be a big thrill now, because that's like the only thing we can do right now. So kimchi is also kimchi is also fermented. I got a question, but this is a drink. This is specifically, you get it in like a bottle, you drink it, and I enjoy it. So it's called kombucha. And anyway, so she's trying it for the first time, and it's not like super sugary. It like has a certain taste. It's not like beer, but in a certain way it is, in that you might not like the taste at first. I don't know, maybe that's just me. I don't really like beer. So anyway, so she tries it, and at first she makes this first face. She's very expressive, right? And she makes this face of like, I don't think I like it. And then kind of upon second thought, she's like, maybe I do like it, right? She's like, gross. And then it's like, and so this shot, these two like stills of her reaction has become a meme, where the first one will be like something you don't like, and the second thing will be something you do. So here, this is from the US, so they're talking about their stimulus check, and they're saying me getting my stimulus check is like, not that exciting, but me finding the afikomen, right? Yes, very exciting. So it's kind of two different possibilities. And here it's funny because you would think that they'd be excited to get the stimulus check, but actually they're saying it's actually more exciting for them to find the afikomen on Passover, right? So it's like, yay. So that's a fun meme template for us to think about when we make our own meme in a moment. Or there's a funny one that I saw also that was like, it started at the top, it says, we need to TA, like ta, and then on the left side where she like, it says talk, and on the right side it says tacos. And so they're saying, we need to talk. It's like, oh, I don't want to talk. We need to tacos. Yes, let's eat tacos. So anyway, kosher tacos, of course. Great. Okay, so here's a fun one for Shavuot, because it was just Shavuot. And so a lot of these memes too, right, it requires a lot of background knowledge. So it's not just the knowledge of Judaism or, whatever the subject is, but it's also the knowledge of like what the picture represents. And you don't necessarily always need to know it, but sometimes it can help like deepen the understanding of the meme, right? Just like Torah, but not at all. There are layers to it. Right, so even if you don't know who these two people are, you can tell they're like hugging and they like each other. And it's about Shavuot, so it's saying lactose intolerant Jews, right, hugging dairy holidays, right? Because even though a lot of us don't do dairy so well, we still love our cheesecake. We love our Shavuot holiday, right? So they're hugging each other, and it's funny, right? So haha, right? And then again, this is going to elicit for a lot of people a Me Too type of, not like Me Too in a bad way, but same, right? I also feel this way. I get it, you get me, right? Feeling that sense of understanding and identity. So that's why I mean like this is popular. And anyway, just for your own cultural education, if you don't know, so the person on the left is Ariana Grande, and the person on the right is Lady Gaga. And this is from this music video called Rain. I think Rain on Me, very catchy song. But anyway, so they're two very famous, very big pop stars right now. So there they are, they're hugging. It's like squad goals, two like powerful women hugging, and we've made it into a meme. So there you go. Okay, so now, wait, oh no, hold on. There was one I skipped. Oh, here we go. Okay, sorry, I'll get to that. So here, right, so we have this guy speaking with this other guy, and right, so the first one says, me wondering how hard it could be to spell yarmulke, right? That can't be hard. And then the person speaking up says the letter R for some reason, right? So it's this person who's like feeling fine, like I'm gonna be able to spell yarmulke. And the person like sneaking up in the back being like, no, you're not gonna be able to, like there's a surprise R, right? So there you go. So that's another example of, right, this doesn't take some deep knowledge to understand, but again, it's just like, yeah, like I can't spell yarmulke either, literally how, right? And so again, you can have that reaction of like, oh, that's me, I feel that way too, right? And again, identity. So there we go. So now we're going to take a moment to make our own little meme, if you'd like. And so I gave us here four memes that we looked at, or four, blank templates for the meme that we looked at. And if you want to write a little caption for one of them, and then I thought, if you feel brave, we could share. So you can choose any of these four, or if you're feeling really excited. And because I feel like that prompt is too broad, I'll give you a little narrowing if you'd like it. But if you'd like to make the meme, because it was just Shavuot, if you'd like to make one of these a Shavuot meme, do that. So again. And if you want to share, you can, but there's no pressure. But again, so pick one of these pictures that you like, that you feel like you could relate to Shavuot, and write a Shavuot related caption. It doesn't have to be about Shavuot as well, though. If you're feeling called to write about something else, you can. But again, it'll be like a short, 1-2 sentence thing. Give it a try, right? So you could label the people like we saw, or any of these different. So we're going to learn, right? We're stretching our brains, because I imagine that most of us have not made a meme before. Has anyone made one? Oh, Barbara, you've made one?
Well, I have no idea. Can you hear me? I have no idea if I made one. I may be on the wrong track, but let's try. So I took who's on the left? That's not Adele. It's
no, that's her name's Brittany, aka Kombucha Girl.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, right. Okay. So for the first one, I have her frowning, saying, she said, Moses went up there, meaning up to the top of Sinai. So Moses went up there. And then on the second one, she's sort of having a second thought and saying, well, maybe it will be good for us.
Oh, no. Nice. I like it.
Very good.
Beautiful. Or you could do, I love that. Or you could do something like the Israelites at the bottom waiting for Moses, and they're like, wait for Moses, ? And then the second picture of her is build a golden calf, right? Because they're like, oh, and then like, oh yeah, we should do that. And of course that ended up being a mistake. But yeah, I love that. Thank you, Barbara. Ruth, you suggested Lag BaOmer meme for the Ticklish fire. Yes, you could totally.
I can't think of
Jews on Lag BaOmer.
I couldn't think of anything to write, but I thought of the holiday, so maybe someone could.
Yeah. Definitely, there's something there. Yeah. Yeah. Anyone else want to give it a try? And that's sometimes it can be hard to think of things quickly too.
I was thinking
moments.
I was thinking for either of the bottom ones, the for Shavuot based on eating dairy. So the one with Bernie Sanders could be like me sitting on the sidelines watching, all my family eat the cheesecake.
I don't believe
And the other one with gosh, I don't remember those actors' names, but Superman and Aquaman, right? That's what's his name in the background is, my stomach coming back at me after eating all of the dairy.
Yes, love it. Sylvia.
So I was thinking from, perspective of teenagers, the first one, the Kombucha Girl, thinking I have to study, but I get to stay up all night.
Yes, I love that. Yes, have to study Torah, but you get to stay up late. Amazing. Okay, I think Sharon, I saw your hand.
Cora said exactly what I was going. I don't believe this, Cora. I was going to say they promised me cheesecake. Exclamation mark. And you came out with that. Amazing. That's just what I was going to say. Like he's sulking. They promised me cheesecake. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, great minds think alike, the power of memes. Yeah, exactly. And that's actually part of, right, the concept of meme, right, is this thing that is kind of passed around and is already a part of our cultural milieu. I don't know, right? So yeah. Anyone else want to give a
Rabbi Walker, just to be a little bit silly, looking at the Bernie Sanders one, it reminds me of something from my youth. Here I sit like a bird in the wilderness, all alone, waiting for my food.
Yes, nice, love it. So there you go. And I feel like that is like an older meme, right? A pre-internet meme maybe, and then we have putting it into a new meme, and it's memes combining, well, right? So I love it. Yes, cool. Anyone else wanna stab? Yeah, I was also not so originally, not the most original, but again, I don't think memes are supposed to be original, because if they're super original, then it might mean that other people don't relate to it. And I feel like part of being a meme is that it's relatable to at least a certain population. But the dog, right, sitting in the fire, the "this is fine" dog, that, you know, something about my stomach after eating cheesecake, or me after eating cheesecake, because it does not go well with me, right? So I'm, you know, like, that's fine. I'm like, it's fine, I'm fine. Yeah, so something like that.
You know, Rabbi Walker,
Yeah.
at first when I saw the one with the dog in the fire, I took it differently, and then I had to think again. When the question was, is everything okay? This is fine. I took it as they weren't thinking about the fire. They were thinking more about their coffee. Like, you know, sometimes when you ask a question, the person misses the question and answers something else. That's how I took the first one at first. And then I had to get my brain reworking again, back to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could definitely
Yeah.
have a different interpretation, and you could make a meme based on that interpretation as well.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I think Esther, were you saying something?
Yeah, for Bernie Sanders, I was thinking,
Yeah.
and I thought so-and-so's sermon was boring.
Yes, I love it. I know. I feel like I've like seen this pose sometimes at Shoal, right? People, maybe I've been the person doing that pose sometimes at Shoal, right? There's a moment where it's like, okay. Yes, awesome. Okay, Cora, yeah.
I wanted to comment on what Sharon was saying, because I feel like part of memes as well is that we all interpret them slightly differently, and that there is a collective kind of understanding of what they mean, but also that understanding them somewhat differently is what a number of people are doing, and that there can be multiple interpretations. So for instance, Rabbi Walker, when you were talking about Kombucha Girl and the stimulus checks versus the Afikomen, I thought she was doing the like gross face from the stimulus checks because Trump's signature was on those stimulus checks and nobody wanted to see that. And I got a bunch of, complaints from my friends that they got this letter from Trump and they were all, annoyed by it, and that he was whatever, the whole thing. And so that's what I interpreted, which is why everybody likes the Afikomen better, even though the stimulus check is obviously a lot more money. So I like, and I know other people interpreted it that way too. So it's kind of fun to see how other people interpret the same meme and know that there's a whole group of people who see it a different way, and you get to, it's kind of like when somebody reveals to you how they see it is really interesting to me. So I actually really appreciate hearing kind of the other interpretations.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Cora. Yeah, there's definitely different ways to interpret all of these, and yeah, I feel like that's part of the beauty of the meme, and what makes it so durable, and what makes it so that these pictures can at first be one type of meme and then eventually kind of will transform into something else. And there are memes that have been around for a while that have started as one thing and kind of transformed into something else. And I think it's partially based on, like understanding something differently or seeing something different in the picture, right? So whereas, this bottom left one with this, and I forget his name, like Jason Momoy or something, sneaking up on this other guy whose name I don't know. Right. So we could see that as like good-hearted sneakiness, or we could see what?
I didn't realize that was him. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's like on the red carpet. There's a whole like photo series, but this is the one that became a meme. And then he like sneaks up and gives him a hug, and it's cute. But you could take this as like fun, or you could take this as like threatening and kind of with a darker tint to it, because again, it's just a picture with different that could have different interpretations, and that's part of the fun of it. So yes, and then my last little slide is these are just some great accounts that I like. I took a lot of my memes from Hey Alma, which is also a website. It's a Jewish publication. It's aimed at millennials, but I feel like it's nice to read things that are aimed at different age groups that are not always our own. So it's called Hey Alma. So they have a lot of stuff on Instagram, but they also have a whole website. And then there's Jewish Memes Only, which is where a bunch of the memes came from. And then Rabbi Danya Rettenberg, who she was not featured today in this presentation, but she's really great on Twitter, and I enjoy following her. So there's some people for the Jewish internet. There are a lot more, and I'm always happy to talk more about those people and the great things on the internet, but that's a start for all of us. So yeah, I'm happy to answer if there are any other questions, but that's kind of the end of my formal presentation all around memes. And I think, again, I don't know, they're fun. It's a nice way to kind of identify Jewishly and then feel like a part of a community. And yeah, it's definitely possible to find community online, even through memes. And this is just one of many ways to do it. And yes, I hope that you all have an illustrious meme making future ahead of you.